Okay, example 1. Find the equation of the line that passes through the points -3, 2 and 3, -3. I'm going to use instead of using the slope formula here, I'm going to use the points on the graph in order to find the slope using rise over run. So my first point here is -3, 2. If I'm on the x-axis and y-axis here, so if I'm at the origin and go 3 to the left and 2 up, that's -3, 2's location. And then my other point here is 3, -3. So again, starting at the origin, go 3 spaces right on the x-axis, 3 spaces right on the y-axis, and it gets me to here. The line we're looking for does connect those two dots. So that's the line we're looking for there. And anytime it says find the equation of the line, when it says these 6 words here, the task is to find the slope, find the y-intercept right at the end. That's how you do it. Okay, slope can be found with a slope formula or by graphing and doing rise over run when you're given 2 points. So, looking at rise over run, if I'm starting at this point and going to this point, I've got to first do rise, which is a vertical change. So I need to go from here vertically to the same level as this other point. And then from there, I need to go horizontally to the other point. So I go off the line vertically, get back onto the line horizontally, and both of those are directional movements. The first direction I went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Going downward is a negative direction, so -5 is the length and sign of that number. Directionally to the right is a positive direction. We want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces to the right, so +6 is the run. So rise is the vertical change, run is the horizontal change, and again, directional numbers, positives and negatives depending on direction. Okay? So my slope here is the rise value over the run value, simplified as much as possible. -5 over +6 is -5, 6. I can't make that any simpler. So that right there is the slope, and again, that's a technique for finding slope if you get 2 points. The other technique is the slope formula. Subtract y's on top, subtract x's on the bottom. That also works. So once we know the slope, the other thing we have to do is find the y-intercept. Sometimes we can find it by inspection. If it crossed right at 0, right at 1, right at 2, that'd be the y-intercept. This one crosses at some decimal value or fractional value between 0 and -1. So I don't know what it is exactly. It looks to be close to -0.5, but maybe it isn't. I don't know. So what I have to do is I have to do it algebraically. All right? Every line in existence fits into the y equals mx plus b model. 4 variables in the model. Y and x are the variables x and y that are going to be in our final answer. M and b are the slope and the y-intercept. All right? So I know what the slope is. I can substitute that for m. I also have 2 points up here. Either point will work. I'm going to take the purple point. Y is the second value in that point, and x is the first value in that point. Those 3 values can be substituted into our linear model in order to figure out what b equals. So if I do all that substitution, I'm going to get the y value 2 equals the slope value -5, 6 times the x value -3 plus b. Very often the slope is a fraction, and usually x and y are integers, usually. So quite often you're doing a fraction times an integer here, chances are you're going to get a fraction answer more often than not. 2 negatives make a positive, 3 and 6 reduce down to a 2, right? But nothing beyond that. So this times this just makes 5 halves. And then this 2 here, I'm going to make this into 4 halves. And that's my technique for doing it every time. I almost always get a fraction, so I evaluate that first to see what the denominator is. Then I just create a common denominator for that piece over there. 2 and 4 halves are exactly the same number. This has the right denominator to work with that. So what's left to do now is move the 5 halves over and subtract. We end up with b is equal to -0.5. So it did look like -0.5. It actually is -0.5. That's lucky. It doesn't usually happen that way. So once I know what b equals, now its job is to find the equation line, to actually write the equation. When you write your equation, y and x are part of your answer. The slope goes in front of x. the y-intercept goes after x. It's minus a half, so it's going to be minus a half.
5 over x.
Yeah, I messed up. That 5 over 2. There we go. I was saying x while I was trying to write it 2 and my brain didn't cooperate with my hand, or vice versa. All right, slope goes in front of x, y-intercept goes after x. So slope times x minus 1/2, so negative 1/2 y-intercept. That is the equation line. That's how you do that. And again, if you're given 2 points, that's one of the questions they might ask you to do. Find the equation line. What's another question they might ask you to do with 2 points?
Find the distance.
Find the distance between the 2 points. Okay, they might just say find the slope. So when you get 2 points, don't immediately go to this. Do what they ask you to do. So 2 points, find the equation, that's what you do. All right, make sure you answer the question that's being asked of you every time.